a couple guys holding for a good while.
Yeah, and we don't want to keep you holding, especially since everybody seems to be calling from out of town today. So we got.
Hello.
Is it Brandon?
Hey, fellas.
How you doing?
How are you?
Hey, what's going on? I am a believer.
Okay.
And I just kind of, let me just say, I listen to you guys every Sunday. I do love intelligent conversation. I just love, I'm a lover of conversation. Okay, let me just get that
We're
out.
in the same boat there, brother.
One of the things I wanted to say is that everybody's zealous for something, not just Christians. It seems that the attitude is that Christians are the ones, they're the only ones that want to impose their beliefs on.
A distinction between the kinds of people who want to impose and people who are simply out there speaking their minds with passion and conviction. I mean, there's probably not so many folks out there who want to do the impose my beliefs thing, although there certainly are some, and they tend to be the ones that give all the rest of the crowd a bad name, whatever crowd they represent.
Right.
And certainly we don't mean to imply that we think Christians are the only people out there being zealous about stuff. I mean, there's certainly enough Islamic suicide bombers out there to make that certainly a false assumption, and there are people of any sort of, whether you have ideological fixations on some sort of political belief or philosophy or what have you, whether you could be libertarian, this, that, or the other. If anybody can get passionate enough about anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't confuse passion for zealotry, and I'd also say that we need to be distinct on this idea of imposition. I would never act to legislate my personal beliefs onto other people. I would never act in such. I would never encourage or support legislation that made, for example, religious worship illegal. I'm in a position where, yes, I would like to possibly change people's minds, although it's not necessarily, the only motivation for doing this. But that's an exercise of free speech, an exercise where somebody's following their conscience. But I would never impose my beliefs on anybody. My position is that our government was founded as a secular government and should return to being a secular government where neutrality is the rule with regard to religion.
It's all in the hands of the individual citizen, how they choose to worship or not,
Yeah.
what faith or belief or practice or church they wish to belong to and follow. I said, but we thought that the reason we responded to you just then was because we thought that was a good point you brought up, the whole,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because I'm trying to be respectful of y'all's time, because I know you guys got a lot of people
Oh,
that
take
wanna
some more
talk.
time. Go ahead.
Seriously, no, talk about what you want.
We took some of yours. You can have more.
Yeah. Now go ahead.
Well, I mean, like I said, I just wanted to say, that everybody's zealous for something. I just wanted to point that out. And then another thing I wanted to say is that respect is conditional. I mean, a lot of times we hear everyone, be it Christian, be it non-Christian, whatever you are, we're always saying, let's do something, let's talk in a respectful manner. However, it's conditional as so long as you believe what I believe, there'll be respect.
No.
Well, hang on.
Can I tell you why I feel like that?
Sure,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, please.
Okay, the reason why I feel like that is because I have been listening, and just hear me out, fellas, just hear me out. The reason why I say that the respect that you guys have is conditional is because there have been a lot of half-truths, not even half-truths. There have been a lot of slanderous things made about believers, like some of the statements you guys made. Come on, man. It's like,
tell me one.
I mean,
what?
This is, to me, I'm just let me get this out. If I was listening to you guys' conversation about believers, I would think that all believers are, I must believe in God, kind of like the Borg on Star Trek. You know what I'm saying? It seems to me that's how you guys present Christians, as we believe in God. You must be assimilated. And
That's a good Borg voice.
I don't think that that's respect.
Well,
because that's not the truth.
Well, since I was the guy I think who was given an opinion on that earlier, let me go ahead and respond to that. I always try to be careful, and when I give examples, to make sure that I'm not throwing the blanket out completely wide and covering it and tarring an entire group with a big broad brush. For example, earlier I spoke about Christians who are so wrapped up in their beliefs that it's a matter of the self-esteem issue, where without the belief they feel that they have no self-worth. Now I didn't mean to imply that I think perhaps 100% of Christians are that way, but that was an example that I gave in response to the caller from Canada, who was talking about a woman. This was a specific individual who had a certain reaction to him describing himself as an atheist, and so I tried to respond by saying, okay, now with that reaction, what you're seeing is this kind of symptom. Now I didn't get to toss it in because Matt was talking about it, and we want to we never get to mention everything we have in our minds on these calls. But I've talked to a lot of believers, and I've said, well, I'm an atheist. And, some of them have, gone slack-jawed with horror, but most of them are like, really, you're an atheist? Wow. So and they don't have the horrified reaction, and they and it opens up a conversation at which so clearly I don't think that all of the believers that I've ever met. I mean, my parents are Christian, my neighbors are Christian, and certainly they're not all certainly the same kind of person. They're individual personalities differ in any sort of group, but so I try to be specific, but sometimes you're not always as clear as you'd like to be, and that's something that maybe we are, and everyone should be more careful about in their conversation.
And while there is some caution in that area, quite frankly, it's not completely our fault. When you have thousands of denominations that run around all using the Christian label, it's not my job to distinguish between each one of them. If I say something about Christianity in a general sense, it's probably either directed at some specific belief, and if it doesn't fit you or if it doesn't fit somebody else, then clearly I wasn't talking about it. Like,